Ryan Reynolds has always been the king of humor, but this time, his joke might have backfired. A recent clip of him recalling a moment when he stared at a mother feeding her baby has sparked controversy, especially given his wife, Blake Lively's past complaints about being stared at in a similar situation. Is this just another case of Hollywood hypocrisy, or is there more to the story? Let's break it all down and see what's really going on. The staring incident. What really happened? Ryan Reynolds is known for his sharp wit and sarcastic humor, but this time his words might have landed him in hot water. During an interview, Reynolds shared an anecdote about a moment that, at first glance, seemed harmless, but in the context of his wife Blake Lively's past statements, it raised some eyebrows. He described staring at a woman who was breastfeeding her child, admitting that he didn't know what expression to make, so he just kept staring. While it was clearly meant as a joke, the way he framed the story made it easy for critics to jump on it, especially given the ongoing discussions around privacy, respect, and public decorum. What makes this particularly controversial is that his wife Blake Lively had previously called out a man for allegedly making her feel uncomfortable while she was pumping. She even suggested that it was a form of inappropriate behavior. This puts Reynolds in a tough spot. If staring at a breastfeeding woman is inappropriate when it happens to Blake, why is it suddenly funny when he does it? The internet wasted no time in pointing out the contradiction. Fans, critics, and even casual viewers started comparing the two situations, questioning whether the Hollywood couple applies different standards when it suits them. Social media reactions were mixed. Some defended Reynolds, saying it was just a joke blown out of proportion. Others, however, were quick to call it hypocrisy. One tweet summed it up perfectly. So Blake wants to sue a guy for looking at her while pumping, but Ryan gets to openly joke about staring at a woman breastfeeding? Hollywood double standards at their finest. It wasn't long before clips of Blake's past comments resurfaced, further fueling the debate. This raises a bigger question. Was this just an innocent joke, or does it reveal a larger issue with the way Hollywood celebrities handle criticism? Many believe that celebrities are quick to hold others accountable, but often expect different treatment when they're the ones in the spotlight. While Reynolds may have intended his comment as nothing more than lighthearted humor, the internet has a way of remembering past statements, and this time it seems like his own words, combined with Blake's previous stance, have made the situation messier than it needed to be. Blake Lively's hypocrisy? Blake Lively has always been outspoken when it comes to issues of respect and personal boundaries. Just last year, she made headlines when she accused a colleague, James Heath, of making inappropriate eye contact with her while she was pumping breast milk on set. According to Lively, she had specifically asked him to turn away, but he allegedly glanced at her, making her feel uncomfortable. This sparked debates about personal space and whether or not a fleeting look could be considered an invasion of privacy. At the time, many rallied behind her, supporting her right to feel safe in any setting. But now, with Ryan Reynolds' recent comments, her stance seems to be coming back to haunt her. The hypocrisy in this situation is difficult to ignore. If Blake felt so strongly about a man briefly looking in her direction while she was covered up, why is it acceptable for her husband to openly joke about staring at a woman in a similar situation? The contrast between her outrage and Ryan's casual storytelling makes it appear as though they hold others to a higher standard than they hold themselves. This is exactly the type of double standard that gets Hollywood celebrities into trouble, preaching one thing publicly while engaging in the very behavior they condemn. Online reactions were swift and brutal. Memes flooded Twitter and Instagram, highlighting the contradiction. One particularly biting post read, "Blake Lively, don't look at me while I'm pumping. Ryan Reynolds, I stared at a woman breastfeeding for an uncomfortably long time." The backlash wasn't just coming from trolls. Even some of Blake's supporters began questioning whether she had overreacted in her original complaint, especially now that Ryan's behavior was being brushed off as harmless. Of course, some defended Blake, arguing that her situation was different because she had explicitly asked for privacy, whereas the woman in Ryan's story was in a public setting. However, this didn't fully address the core issue. Shouldn't respect for boundaries and personal space apply universally? It's moments like these that remind us how quickly public perception can shift, especially when past statements come back to the surface. The public reaction and controversy. Whenever Hollywood stars find themselves in the middle of controversy, social media is the first place where opinions explode. This situation was no different. The moment Ryan Reynolds' clip started circulating, the internet turned into a battlefield of divided opinions. Some found it hilarious, defending Ryan as just being his usual comedic self. Others, however, weren't as amused, calling it yet another example of celebrity hypocrisy. One major factor driving the backlash was how quickly people connected this incident to Blake Lively's past accusations. It's one thing for a celebrity to be involved in a minor controversy, but when there's clear inconsistency between their actions and their words, people take notice. A large number of comments pointed out that Hollywood often operates under a set of double standards, where famous actors and actresses hold others accountable, while expecting their own behavior to be excused. To make matters worse, certain media outlets jumped on the story, amplifying the debate. Headlines such as, "Ryan Reynolds' joke backfires amid Blake Lively's past complaints," and "Did Ryan just undermine Blake's claims?" flooded entertainment news sites. Even more damaging were opinion pieces that criticized the couple's apparent lack of self-awareness. Some journalists argued that while Reynolds' joke might not have been meant maliciously, it still exposed an uncomfortable truth about how celebrities navigate scandals differently when they're the ones in the spotlight. On platforms like Twitter and TikTok, fans engaged in heated discussions. Some used the opportunity to revisit past instances where Hollywood couples contradicted themselves, comparing Ryan and Blake's situation to similar scandals involving other famous pairs. Meanwhile, Reynolds remained silent on the matter, choosing not to respond publicly. Whether that was a smart PR move or a missed opportunity to clear the air remains up for debate. This incident may not be career-ending for Reynolds, but it does serve as a reminder that in the age of social media, nothing goes unnoticed. Celebrities are constantly being watched, and the moment they slip up, even in a seemingly innocent way, the internet is ready to hold them accountable. Whether or not this controversy fades away will depend on how Ryan and Blake choose to handle it moving forward. Deadpool at the Oscars? A cringeworthy moment? As if the controversy surrounding Ryan Reynolds' joke wasn't enough, his appearance at the Oscars added even more fuel to the fire. Deadpool is one of the most beloved characters in modern cinema, and Reynolds has built a reputation as a marketing genius when it comes to promoting the franchise. However, this time, his attempt at making a splash didn't exactly go as planned. During the Oscars, a performer dressed as Deadpool made a surprise appearance, dancing on stage in what was supposed to be a fun and lighthearted moment. The problem? The audience reaction was almost non-existent. While certain segments of the crowd politely clapped, many others seemed uninterested, leading to a painfully awkward silence. To make matters worse, when another skit featuring a massive sandworm playing the piano took place, the crowd erupted into laughter and applause. The contrast between the two moments was glaring. One was met with enthusiasm, while the other felt forced and out of place. The internet wasted no time in ridiculing the moment. Comments like, "Not even the Academy cares about Deadpool anymore," and "That was more awkward than a bad stand-up routine," flooded social media. Some even suggested that Reynolds was trying too hard to make Deadpool 3 a talking point at an event that had nothing to do with the franchise. What was once a character that audiences couldn't get enough of was suddenly met with indifference. This lukewarm reception raises an interesting question. Has Deadpool lost some of its magic? The first two films were wildly successful, but with the third installment on the horizon, some fans are beginning to wonder whether the excitement is wearing off. After all, Reynolds' signature brand of humor, quick-witted, sarcastic, and self-deprecating, has been his strongest asset. But when that humor starts to feel forced or out of touch, audiences notice. Reynolds has always been a master of PR, but this time, the Deadpool stunt may have done more harm than good.
And is now touching
Instead
on the
of generating
issue
hype,
of power
it became
dynamics
another
in
talking
Hollywood.
point in
Who
an
gets to
already
dictate
rough
what
week for
is
the actor.
and isn't acceptable?
With the
Who
controversy
is allowed to
surrounding
joke
his joke
and
still
who critics
fresh,
argue?
the last
His
thing he
attempt at
needed was an
diplomacy
Oscars
backfires,
moment that
making
fell
him appear
flat.
spineless
The
rather
big
than
question
cautious.
now is whether
And then
this was
there's the
just
matter
a
of the
minor
gin.
misstep or a
And
sign that Reynolds'
ever the
charm
businessman,
is
has
beginning
turned
to wear
aviation
thin.
gin into a brand
Blandon
synonymous
Scar,
with his
Hollywood's
image.
most
Details,
boring
the
actor?
context, it's all
Blandon
being
Scar isn't
re-examined with
exactly
fresh
a
eyes.
household
And
name,
the findings
and
aren't
after
doing
his
her any
latest red
favors.
carpet interview,
Justified grievance
it's easy
is
to
now
see
being
why.
questioned in light of
When
her
asked about
husband's
Blake
own
Lively's
words.
situation,
The
he
defense
gave
of
an
Lively's
awkward,
complaint
lifeless
grows more
response,
difficult when
calling it a
juxtaposed
tough
against Reynolds'
situation
admission
while
alliances.
stumbling through
And right
vague,
now,
empty words.
Sklener's refusal to
Instead
take
of
a
standing by
definitive
his
position is
co-star
making
or
him
taking a clear
liability
stance,
rather
he
than
played
an
it
asset.
safe and
He's
ended
most
up looking
talent, and
weak.
right now, the optics
The internet
for Reynolds,
quickly labeled him
Lively, fair talk, and
Hollywood's
those
most
connected to them are
boring
messy.
actor, with fans
The
mocking his
underlying
lack of
tension.
energy.
It's a rare
Meanwhile,
misstep for
Paul
Reynolds,
Fee,
who
another
has built
key
a
figure
career
in
on
this
effortless
drama,
charm
confidently
and
backed
calculated
Blake
wit.
Lively, proving that
The
Hollywood
silence
is all
that
about
followed
strategic
Deadpool's appearance at
alliances.
the Oscars feels symbolic.
Scar, on the other hand,
moment where
seemed
Hollywood
clueless
and
about
the
how to
performance
handle the
end,
situation,
and the truth
making himself
begin.
look
The
worse
conversation
by refusing
refuses
to
to
take
die
a
down.
side.
The weight of
In an
public
industry
scrutiny
that thrives
pressing
on
heavier
big
with each passing
personalities,
day.
Scar's
What
dull
started as a seemingly
response
innocuous
didn't do
remark
him
from
any
Ryan Reynolds,
favors.
standard she
He
set
tried
for
to
Heat
avoid
was that
controversy,
even
but in
unintentional eye
Hollywood,
contact
playing
could
it
be
too
considered
safe is
inappropriate.
just as
And what does
damaging
that
as saying
mean
the
for
wrong
her
thing.
husband, who for her
The
husband,
business
and
of
right now,
loyalty,
the optics
a hidden
for
power
Reynolds,
play?
Lively, fair
Hollywood
talk,
is
and
as
those
much about
connected to them
business
are
as it is
messy.
about
The
entertainment,
failed
and Paul
Deadpool
Fee's
stunt
loyalty
lingers in
to
people's
Blake
minds,
Lively may
not
be
just
more
as an awkward
strategic than
moment,
personal.
but as a
As her
miscalculation.
co-star,
An
Faye
attempt towards
openly praised
reevaluating
her,
how it views
ensuring
him.
their film
But
remains
perhaps the most telling
controversy-free.
aspect of this
But
entire
behind the
saga
scenes,
is how
another
quickly
interesting shift
narratives
happened.
shift in the entertainment
Reynolds'
industry.
Aviation Gin,
What
a
begins
brand
as a
he's promoted
controversy
for
surrounding
years,
one issue
was pushed
soon
aside
morphs
in
into
favor of
something
Faye's
else, a
own
more
gin.
uncertain path. Her standing as
Coincidence?
both a beloved actress
Maybe.
and an advocate for
But
women
in Hollywood,
the industry is
branding
now,
deals
her credibility
are
tested
everything.
in ways it never has
While
been
Reynolds
before.
is busy
And for
handling
Sklenar,
controversy,
the biggest question, how
Fee
long
is
before the
strengthening
next
his
headline
position,
shifts
not
focus
just as an
entirely?
actor, but
The
as a
fallout from
businessman.
all of this isn't just about
This small
reputations,
but
it's
telling
about positioning.
move shows that in
Reynolds,
the
despite the
entertainment
backlash,
industry,
will likely
every
weather this
decision
storm as he
has
has
hidden
many
motives.
before. His brand is too
Conclusion,
strong.
the
His
bigger
fan base
picture.
too loyal. Debate.
Ryan Reynolds' joke may have seemed
Because if there's
minor,
one thing that
but in the
never
context
changes
of
in this
Blake
town,
Lively's
it's that the
past
spotlight
statements,
never truly
it
fades.
raises an important
Just
question.
ready for the
Do
next
celebrities
controversy,
get away
the
with
next
double
scandal,
standards?
the next moment
While this
to dissect,
controversy won't
and
ruin their
where he stumbled
careers,
through his
it does
response about
highlight how
supporting
quickly
Lively,
public
has been
perception
clipped,
can shift
shared,
in the
and
digital
ridiculed
age.
endlessly online.
From
It's the
Deadpool's
kind of
failed
bad press
Oscars
that
moment
lingers,
to Blandon
staining
Scar's
reputations
awkward
in
interviews,
ways that are
this story is a
difficult to
perfect
erase.
example of
Meanwhile,
Hollywood's
Fans
selective
and fellow
outrage.
celebrities who
In
attended
the
the
end,
event
Reynolds
criticized
and
Reynolds
Lively
for
will
being
likely
tone
move on
deaf
without
to the
consequences,
side
but
cost
it's
him
clear
more
that
than
nothing
if
in
he had simply
Hollywood
chosen
goes
one.
unnoticed.
As the dust begins to settle,
So what do
the
you
Hollywood
think?
machine continues
Was this
to
just
churn.
an overblown
And to
joke?
some extent,
Or does
looked
it
like
expose
Blake
a
was
deeper
caught
issue?
unaware.
Let me
Almost
know
like
in
she
the
didn't know he'd
comments,
make a move
and
like
don't
that.
forget to like and
Fans and fellow
subscribe for
celebrities
more
who attended
updates
the
on
event
Hollywood's latest